All right, welcome back. So right now you're warmed up. You've got your dream team. You've got your steering committee. You have got your value ladder set out, right? And now the next step is that how we want, and you've got your timeline. And now we have to put together a cadency report because we've got all these people and all these things, right? So we have a lot of moving parts. And to eliminate confusion and make sure that everyone's connected, we put together a cadency report. So you can do this right on a Word doc, or you can do it in Google Docs, or you can do it in Excel, whatever you're most comfortable with, but don't overthink it, okay? You can just use a pad and paper just like I'm doing, and just make sure you keep everything chronological. What's great though about using it on the computer, in this day and age everybody uses the computer, is that you can add and delete easily. And you can also share with your team. So I do highly recommend doing it on a Word doc or a Google Doc or in a Excel format, because if you write it down here, then it's gonna be a little difficult to get to everyone else, okay, that's on your team. So what is the cadency report? It's a snapshot or an at-a-glance overview of all the key players, their contacts, and the logistics for a specific event. So important. You want to have all the logistics for a specific event. Have to keep in mind that sometimes your volunteers are volunteering for other organizations or they're doing something else. Me, as a mom, I only have an only child, right? I have one child, and she's 19. So I don't really have to worry about the little ones anymore, right? The lunches and waking up in school and PTO and all the things that go with that. I understand that you're busy. I've been there. I was a soccer mom for 19 years. I was a Girl Scout leader for 5 years. I owned 2 Curbs for Women franchises. In 2008, because of the market crash, I almost lost everything and I almost had to go to bankruptcy. But I was able to restructure. I took a year off and redesigned who Maya was creating to be. So if you're listening to this and you're starting to create a new identity for yourself, you're not alone. There's many other nonprofits or organizations that want to help you succeed, and volunteers. And I know a tribe of you, a tribe that's coming of you guys. It's hard for me to talk about because I never really talked about all my failures and how many times I failed before I got here today in front of you. So my number one reason actually for starting this course and starting to be more open and talking to more people was when I was pregnant with my daughter 19 years ago. And I was pregnant with her, and it was a spring morning, 10 o'clock in the morning in 1999, and I was going to my regular doctor appointment. And I'm sitting there, my husband's sitting there in the chair, I'm laying on the bed, the doctor comes in with my chart, and he's just looking, doesn't have any good news for me. Besides the morning sickness, I wasn't really sure. I thought I was having a really good pregnancy. I just didn't really know what was going on inside of there. But my test results showed that my daughter had the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck, and her stomach walls weren't closing. And she probably wouldn't have made it. She might have been Down syndrome or had some type of a medical situation. I'm not sure. But thankfully today she's healthy and happy and doing really well. Beautiful soul, beautiful woman. I thank God every day for that. I want you to know that how it's my time to give back to your organization, and this is why I'm breaking down fundraising secrets in step-by-step, bite-sized pieces. So if at times this gets complicated, go in our Facebook group and chat. Tell us your story, share your stories so that we can share your message and get the message out to many people. I want you to know that how when we create a cadency report and you have all these names and all these people coming, sometimes we personality shifts and different things, right? But if we have the title that we gave them, their status, then they know exactly the role that they're going to play. And you can be a confident leader and a confident, charismatic character. When I break down for you on an Excel form, whether you're using Google Docs or Excel or a Word doc, makes it easy for you so that you can lay down the important things that you would need, such as the event title. We have to agree on what the event title is, right? Sometimes the steering committee has a different idea than the board members. Sometimes they like a different logo than what the steering committee came up with. right? The graphic designers. So coming up with that kind of information. Dates, location, and time. Now, interestingly, because you'll have a board member on your team, and this is why I suggested this, is that sometimes when you see a venue that you like, and you decide you like that, you have to wait because you have to go back. The staff member has to go back to tell the board member, and then they have to approve and vote on it. They have to get a budget together. So by eliminating all that confusion, by having them right on your steering committee, helps to alleviate a lot of time and stress, and like time is dollars, right? And sometimes the event too might be sold out, like Friday night's cheaper, or maybe Tuesday night's cheaper than Friday night or Saturday night, right? So you get a better deal. So you got to be able to make those decisions straight away. Now, if you downloaded the book Fundraising Secrets, which is free for you to download in your guide here, that information's all in there as well. So, and there is an example of a cadency report as well. So the event title, date, time, and location. The location, I have to tell you a quick story. When we have two locations, one's called Riverview and one is called River. And people get them confused, and they're about 3 miles apart from each other. So, or maybe 2 miles, 2 miles apart from each other. And people often get them confused. So make sure that you have the date, time, location, and everyone's on there. The venue event manager, sometimes, they quit, right? And we're not sure who the venue manager is anymore. So make sure you have that contact information there. Because if you have flowers coming, or a stage, or special lighting, or anything, you want to make sure that the event manager knows that you have this thing happening. Everybody has communication. Guest capacity. Now, sometimes people choose that they want to sell tickets at the door. But if the capacity of the place is only 100 people, or 150, 200 people, and 300 people show up, one is not only going to have chaos, but you're not going to have the accommodation for those extra 100 people, and also the food, and then the venue might be really upset too, and there's also a fire hazard. So make a decision what you're gonna do when you're selling your tickets. I like to just have them sold in advance, because it's just a lot easier. But if you say, listen, we got 50 tickets, we're gonna sell those at the door and allocate that, then perfect. Just have a plan. Committee and volunteer roles. Really important to have the expectations, the job descriptions of each members, so they have their duty. This way you don't have any yelling or screaming or chaos happening the day of the event, because everyone is responsible for something. They have direction, right? They have their action step. That you figured out all in the timeline. So that's so important. Event producer. Now, oftentimes I was the event producer, or maybe my friend Melissa was the event producer, right? Depending on what we're doing. We had the front of the house and the back of the house that we had to take care of for events. And then, not to mention the sides of the house, right? Because then you got lighting, and then you got the food, the kitchen staff. So all these pieces, and you got to plug and play them. So make sure you have the event coordinator's numbers. Things change. Maybe sometimes people are running late, or hair and makeup, or whatever you decide that you're going to do. Make sure you have the event producer's contact information. Emails and phone numbers of everyone. So if you have 100 people, you have to have 100 emails and 100 contact emails and phone numbers. Know the budget. Always have a meet and greet date, so that people aren't surprised. They get excited about it. Build excitement, right? Have them come to your thing empowered and excited, ready to make a difference. How cool is that? And have date, time, and location for the meet and greet. And then at the very end, always thank your community. It's so essential to thank your community. It's one of the steps that's actually missing. And in the book, you'll see that, Fundraising Secrets, as well. I've actually been part of an organization that, didn't thank their volunteers properly, and it really puts a bad taste in your mouth. And especially when you're building that volunteer value ladder to ascend, there's so much life, and I showed you how many different opportunities there were to grow within that organization. If you really find that one, and if you're that one, keep them, nurture them, make them be like this holy flower and beautiful thing. Just water and nurture it, right? This plant. So make sure that you take care of your volunteers and your steering committees and your staff. Thank them. And have a recap party. The final thing that I would ask you to do is take a checklist, make a checklist, a couple checklists actually, one before drawing up to the event, and then the one of the day of the event. So for example, the reason why I always say have a checklist, is because the day of the event is because you might need balloons or flowers, or maybe cakes and cupcakes or stuff. Those things, you need them that day because they're perishable. So remember what to like make a checklist. Sometimes we need medals, or they're not ordered yet. Little things like that, stage lighting, microphones, just so that you can remember to have those. One thing, pens, just little things like that. So have a checklist to make sure that you have everything. One of my favorite things to have is the pop-up signs, because it's great marketing, right? There's a sign behind me, you're able to take pictures, and that's just people taking more and more pictures of your sign and it going everywhere viral on social media. So really craft and hone down on an Excel, a Google, or a Word doc sheet on how to diagram your cadence report, and this way you'll have all the essential things, all the key elements on there, and then you just plug and play the people into where they need to be. That's going to save you a lot of time, it's going to save you a lot of drama, and you'll be more effective and more efficient in the 12-week period so that you can concentrate on raising those dollars. Remember, cash is for closers. I'll see you guys in the next video.